General Motors is now the last of the big three automakers to reach a tentative deal with the United Auto Workers Union. The union reached a similar deal with Ford last week and Stellantis over the weekend. These agreements, if approved, would end a 6-week-long strike involving nearly 50,000 workers in more than 20 states. CBS News senior transportation correspondent Kris Van Cleave joins us now. Kris, the deals were reached in different times with different companies. Are the details different or similar, and who got the better of this whole negotiation?
Well, I think the workers probably got the better of the negotiation. They got probably about as much as they could have reasonably hoped to get out of the automakers. You know, they had been asking for a 4-day work week and a return of pensions, some things that they just were not going to happen. But they managed a 25% pay raise over the course of 4 years, which is a fairly significant hike, as well as improvements to retirement and a return of cost of living protections as well. You know, the contracts are, once one of the automakers came to a tentative agreement, it basically put the playing field, the sidelines down for where the other automakers would fall, John. Each of the contracts have some different points. Stellantis, for example, the parent of Jeep and Dodge and Ram and Chrysler, there was a lot of concern over one of their facilities, the Belvedere facility, that they had been talking about closing. So there were a lot of negotiations there that centered around keeping that facility open, whereas at Ford, there were talks about battery plants and some other things, and there'll be some particulars to the GM deal as well that are different, but sort of the big bullet point items, the headlines, will be largely the same.
And Kris, what's the next step in all of this to square away these preliminary agreements?
Sure. So Ford is the furthest along because they were the first one to come to an agreement. Once there's a tentative agreement, that then goes to basically that labor union, the Ford team's governing council. They then voted unanimously to accept the tentative agreement. So now it'll be up to Ford employees who are UAW members to vote it in or reject it. The expectation is that they will vote to accept it. That same general scenario will play out at Stellantis. Their council meets later this week, and then General Motors will follow a similar trend probably about a week later. So it'll be a few weeks before the ink is dry on these, assuming the auto workers vote them in. But the union has also essentially suspended the strike, so folks will be able to go back to work as soon as the plants are ready to restart production.
And Kris, do we have any sense of the cost of all of this, what it's totaled up to? And also, what of this question that the car makers kept raising, which is if they raise these wages and lock them in for some number of years, it'll put them in an anti-competitive position as they try to make the switch from carbon-based fuel to electric vehicles?
Well, John, that is certainly a big risk. Their labor costs are approaching $40 an hour more in some cases than a non-union competitor. So it is substantial. We were talking to an economist today who said for Ford, it's going to add over $1 billion in labor costs. Now, granted, they brought in more than $100 billion in revenue, so it is a small number on the bottom line, but it is not an irrelevant number. It works out, Ford has said, to about $950 to $1,000 a vehicle if they were going to pass those costs on to consumers, and you can bet that automakers will pass at least some of those costs on to consumers. It is one of those things that has the potential to be a drag on the big three, particularly if the market changes, if the market realities change, if the demand for cars slows down. You know, it is a risk.
Kris Van Cleave updating us on all that strike activity. Kris, thanks so much.
Sure thing, John.